you looking at, possibly helping this team when you're able to get out on the field, man?
I was happy, man. I got the phone call from the GM in Cleveland, man, and he was just telling me, Z, we got it done for you. And I was like, we got it done? So we're going to Detroit? And yeah, he was like, yeah, you're going to Detroit. So thank them, man, for just having me for 2 years, well, a year and a half, and trading me here to basically get a chance to go do something great.
Za'Darius Smith has a huge opportunity as we approach the middle of this regular season. He has been one of the alpha dogs in the trenches throughout his career, a leader who makes a difference and someone a team can count on. Smith finished second in sacks with the Cleveland Browns before taking off to Detroit. And this is what you want when it comes down to said player. He has played for multiple teams in his career. He requested a trade and was sent to the Lions along with a 2026 7th round pick in exchange for a 2025 5th round pick and a 6th round pick as well. With Aidan Hutchinson being sidelined due to injury, Smith is a player the team is counting on to make a difference. Given his skill set, he's expected to fit right in Lions Nation. So on this play here, we see the defensive end's ability to bull rush against the opposition. Za'Darius lines up against Joe Alt, a rookie who was highly regarded as the best tackle coming out in a long time. But with Smith, he has the ability to give Alt a welcome to the NFL moment. Watching Smith engage with the young offensive tackle, find his way to Herbert, and get the sack is exactly what you'd hope for from a mid-season trade acquisition. So activating the system. So running this play here, watching Smith get off the ball and freezes him at the line of scrimmage. And with Smith, he has done this all throughout his career, catching these offensive linemen off guard and knocking them off balance. And Joe Alt is a strong offensive tackle, but with a guy like Smith, once you do make a mistake, he has the power to be able to control you all throughout the rep, finding a way to get through Joe Alt and get his hands on Justin Herbert. And this is all you can ask for when it comes down to that defensive end position. He has been doing this ever since he was a rookie coming out, and it's good to be able to see a guy still going out there and being consistent. If you're going to be a part of Aaron Glenn's defense, you got to have that dog mentality. So with this player, if he does have the opportunity to be able to bull rush a player, he will do that all game and try to find ways to be able to impose his will. And sometimes when it comes down to that bull rush technique, it's not really about savvy moves, it's more about willpower. This player saying, I will get to the backfield. And when you do bring that type of aggression, it's going to make everybody on the front seven that much more better. And he's also one of the players that can be used on the left side as well as the right side. You can mix it up. But seeing him going out there and getting his hands on Joe Alt, bull rushing him and getting his hands on the quarterback, this is what you want to see when it comes down to the veteran defensive end. Za'Darius Smith is a player that's known for his power and rip moves, excelling at gaining leverage against his opponents. When facing offensive linemen, proper positioning and good technique are crucial. Otherwise, Smith will find a way to get his hands on either the quarterback or the running back. This skill has made him a valuable asset in the NFL, and it's something that he'll bring to the Lions defense. So we're going to split it. So running this play here, just studying Smith's movements and just watching this guy just raise that left arm. And the thing is, you already know what's coming with it because we know that he's a power player, setting up the rip against this offensive tackle. And next thing you know, he has all the leverage. And you see with the right tackle, he attacked his outside arm. That's why I always say positioning is very key. All it takes is half a second when it comes down to these defensive ends. If you have leverage, you can be able to disrupt this play. Next thing you know, he was able to lock in on the running back and make the tackle. And we love to be able to see these defensive ends that's bringing that heat. You got to bring a lot of contact when it comes down to these running backs to let these guys know that they're going to be there all game. And when you do have a guy like Za'Darius Smith, I believe that with his talent, he can make any team in the NFL better. If you can be able to bring a top-notch veteran like him and mix him with those young dogs on the front seven, it can bring the best out of everybody on that entire defense, even the secondary players. Because if you can be able to evade these offensive linemen, find ways to stop the run, as well as get to the quarterback, it's going to blow off timing and force them to make mistakes. So seeing him utilize the bull rush properly, as well as the rip moves, these are two skill sets that he can be able to bring to this defense. Finding ways to do his part and wreck offensive game plans. Another skill set that Aaron Glenn and the rest of the defensive coaching staff need to focus on is Smith's ability to slash and use crossface techniques against the offensive line. He can reset the line of scrimmage and disrupt run lanes in a matter of seconds. Smith has demonstrated this ability frequently in games that I've evaluated recently. When a defender can do this, it can quickly cause turnovers and flip momentum. And for a defense that has the opportunity to give Jared Goff and the offense the ball, it makes them that much more dangerous. And this skill should be fully utilized when it comes down to Za'Darius Smith. So we're going to spin a block. So running this play here, you see that Smith is lurking and he slashes right through that C gap. And with that defensive end position, it is imperative to be a player that can be able to get slippery and find a way to be able to make a beeline straight to these running backs. Because a lot of these running backs in the league, if you're going up against J.K. Dobbins, anybody in the NFC, they have the skill set to be able to slice right through these run lanes. And I'm not saying that Za'Darius Smith is the fastest player, but he's one of the guys that can use his hands well. He can get slippery and he has short area quickness. And sometimes that's all you need to be able to get your hands on these running backs. But watching this player all throughout this season, with the Cleveland Browns defense, they had this player standing up a lot, lurking in those B gaps as well as the C gaps, and finding ways to be able to use a cross-face technique and make a play. And it's the little things when it comes down to film. We love to be able to break down these trenches, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because we will be breaking down more Lions film as we get further into the season, as well as the undrafted and drafted players next year as well. But seeing Za'Darius get slippery and use that cross-face move to be able to cut off that running back, it was a great rep to see. Here's another rep here I wanted to show y'all of Smith slashing through the offensive line and making a play. I've got to bring receipts when it comes down to evaluating these players, and this is another one of those reps that caught my attention. So we'll go ahead and run it. So watching this play here, he's aiming for that C gap, and he rips right through that tight end. And with Za'Darius Smith, you want him going up against tight ends, so I'm sure Aaron Glenn's going to scheme him up that way. And it looked like that tight end was holding on for dear life, but watching him being able to stretch those long arms, with these scouts in the NFL, you got to get defensive ends that can be able to have long arms as well, because when you can be able to extend like that, that matters when it comes down to the gridiron. When you have a player in Smith being consistent, not only doing this for the Cleveland Browns, but you have done it for all four of the other teams that you played for as well, I'm sure that this is an add to the defense that'll get the whole Pry family excited. Now, he's not one of the players that'll get you 10 to 12 sacks. He does have those 8 and 9 sacks type of seasons. And sometimes when you have defenders that can already get to the quarterback, that is definitely going to be an added boost. And the film never lies. Seeing him doing this against the Ravens, crossing over these tight ends and laying a body on these ball carriers is awesome to see. So it's great to be able to find a guy that can be aggressive. They have a high motor on top of being a leader on and off the field. And even though he's a veteran player that's spent the block around the league for a long time, picking him up when you already have alpha dogs on this team, that was definitely a steal, getting a one up on every team in the NFL. It won't be perfect when it comes down to Smith's performance. While he has the ability to stop the run and get sacks, there will be times when he gets out of position. Sometimes at the snap of the ball, he tends to be too aggressive and loses his positioning. Being patient and using your eyes are key, especially if he wants to make even more plays. So we'll go and run it. So running this play here, you see that tight end, he didn't block him. Jaden Daniel fakes the ball, and next thing you know, he takes off outside the pocket. And if you're seeing this play here, if Smith was a little bit more patient, he would have had a better angle to be able to disrupt Daniels, and he might not have had the opportunity to be able to throw a perfect ball. So this is why we always say patience is very important when it comes down to the game of football. I'm not saying that this is something that he does all the time, but with the JC film sessions, we have to break down the good plays as well as the bad plays because we do not want to lead you guys the wrong way. So patience and proper positioning are key if you're going to be a player to impact more reps. And not only that, whenever you get your hands on these running backs, you got to secure the tackle. Coaches always told me if you can get your hands on a player, you have to get him down. He did get hit by this pulling guard, but with Za'Darius Smith, he is strong enough. If he can be able to put his vice grips on you, he should be able to disrupt these plays. So you will see some sacks from this athlete, stopping the run, finding ways to disrupt and allow other players to make plays, but there will be times where he will miss tackles as well as being in bad position. So I had to show y'all this as well to keep this even Steven. So on this final rep here, this ended up being one of my favorite plays. As a defensive end, you must play to the whistle, and coaches notice this dedication. If you consistently do this, you'll earn more playing time on the field. Watching Smith's hand usage and his execution of a swim move to disengage from the offensive lineman and reach Joe Burrow was a thing of beauty. And also seeing him lining up at that defensive tackle position, showcasing his versatility, was the cherry on top. So we'll go ahead and run it. So locking in on this play here, you see that they're getting off the ball. And I love to be able to see this trench work, those players just fighting it out. And you see Smith, he's using his hands. And next thing you know, he catches him with a quick swim move. And to see him not only being able to go up against tackles, but you're fighting against these guards is awesome to see. So once he uses his swim move, that was the biggest difference on this rep. And now it's time to go hunt Joe Burrow. And it's so exciting to be able to zoom this in and break it down because you get to see exactly what these guys are doing, watching their behaviors every single step of the way. So there's a lot of things that he can be able to bring to his arsenal. So using his hands well, the swim moves is things you like to see. He's not going to be one of the defensive ends that's one of the most bendiest type of players, but that's okay because if you can play with a high motor, you have a good bull rush technique, swim moves, as well as being able to use your hands, it makes up for it. So I honestly think that this is one of the biggest moves that the Detroit Lions made this season, and it's going to be good to see how this player shakes out. So with a guy like Za'Darius Smith, having a fresh start is always good. When you're going to a Detroit Lions team that has built their offense as well as their defense, this will get any player excited. And hopefully guys like Aidan Hutchinson is having a speedy recovery because we know that he is one of the most dominant players in the NFL. He's not on the level of a Hutchinson, but I think that with his motor and everything that me and you just broke down on film, that should be enough to keep things rolling. But you have to give your shout out to Dan Campbell for being able to build this team inside and out. This is how you're supposed to take that next step. If you want to be a team that's going to make some noise when it really matters, this is the ingredients to be able to get it done. And I honestly think that this is a team that can be able to get to where they want to go, but they got to lock in and focus. But with Za'Darius Smith, I'm sure that he is amped up to showcase his talents once he sees the field. So comment below and let me know what y'all think about this addition. And if y'all think that with his skill set, he will be able to keep this defense rolling. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss out on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, Lions family, talk to y'all soon. Gone.